In my mind, you're so scared of messing up the words in the Bible, but what you're actually doing is adding words to the Bible. You're adding words to what God said.
Jordan's messages.
Sponsored by Squarespace.
Family is messy. Not always true, but often very, very true. You know what's not messy? The fact that the Messages shirt is almost gone, so you have I don't even know how many days left. End of the month. And then you cannot get your hands on these Messages shirts ever again. Very important and very messy if you don't do it, so let's get to the messages. Hello, Jordan and Josh. I'm over 18. My parents are crazy controlling, and I'm not allowed to move out until I get married, or I will lose my relationship with my family. Their words, not mine. I found a guy I really, really like, and we want to pursue a serious relationship. Problem is, my dad has said he will not give this guy permission to date me until he thinks the guy is ready, measured by his imaginary standards. This great, godly guy and I really want to follow the authority God gave me in my life, but have found it difficult to do so when my father's rules do not have anything to do with the Bible or how I think dating needs to be. I am a strong believer. I want to wait until marriage for kissing and physical contact, and don't even want one-on-one dates until we are engaged. I really want to do things right, but this feels impossible. Is it right to move out when the Bible says to obey your parents when God knew who my parents would be when he wrote that? The Bible says a lot of things, okay? It says a lot. It says a lot of things. A lot of things.
Big book.
It's a big book. It's a very big book. And you know, something you have to remember, okay? Sure, God knew that your parents were going to be who they are. God knew that you were going to be in this really screwed up situation, I guess. You know, God knows everything, so I guess the I guess can be omitted. He knew. But like, to read an ancient document, now people are going to say this is heresy, Josh. But, you know, we just take these verses and we're like, okay, I'm in this awful situation where my parents both say I can't leave the house until I get married, but then also won't let me date any human being. I must respect my parents and not leave my house because my psycho dad is telling me that I must stay forever. Okay, like let's take this to, you know, I love taking stuff to this crazy conclusion. Okay, imagine there's like a little kid in an awful, like a terrible situation where his mom or somebody just keeps locking him in the closet for like days on end. And then that kid has domain and is like 18 years old. Should that child be like, or now adult, be like, wow, I think that reads that Bible verse, wow, I need to respect my parents. Respect my parents. Ding! That means I need to do whatever they say constantly, no matter how nuts and crazy and evil it is. Okay, I'll stay in this closet for 7 days out of the week. Perfect. No, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's these words. You have to define words. When the Bible says respect your parents, what does that even mean? We just say whatever it is that our parents say that it means. Like, respect me, that means follow every rule that I say because I am God. If your parents start to play God, that's when we get into problems, okay? There's a hierarchy here, okay? There's God, and then over your parents, and then your parents are over you. When you become an adult, okay, in my mind, when you become an adult, yes, you respect your parents, fine, whatever. But you have responsibility at that point. Responsibility, Josh, means that you have the ability to respond to stuff. So as soon as you have the ability to respond to situations, you can get out of situations that are bad because you are not an idiot anymore and you know a thing or two about life, okay? Your parents aren't protecting you anymore, they're hurting you. And at that point, we're not opening up the Bible that was written for a specific situation that we don't even maybe quite understand thousands of years ago and then say, yeah, God is telling me because I read this, respect, and I don't even know the original translation or like how they really use these words. I'm just reading this. Okay, I need to both be married to leave or else my parents are gonna hate me, and also I can't get married because my dad won't let me. Okay, so
it's like joining the Actors Guild in Hollywood.
That is it.
You have to be in a movie
to get in the guild, but you can't be in the guild until you're in a movie.
And that, Josh, is when this nice couch comes in. Okay? So, look. In my mind, what you're so scared of messing up the words in the Bible, but what you're actually doing is adding words to the Bible. You're adding words to what God said. It said respect your parents. It didn't say respect your parents, therefore stay at your house because your dad is saying you can't leave because you. That's not what that means. You have added words to the Bible. We need to figure out what respect means, and I don't think respect is the definition that you are putting on those words.
If somebody is doing something bad or stupid, is it respectful to help them keep doing that thing?
According to COVID, yes. According to the sign that I passed every time I walked into Kroger, Jesus would wear a mask. Yeah, that's where we're at. That billboard is now gone. Like, actually, that sign is completely gone. Like, there's no metal sign up there anymore. I think that God struck it down. Every time.
Using his name in vain.
Every time I drove past that. You know, I'm driving to a specific Kroger out in the country, hoping that you wouldn't just get completely obliterated when you walk in without a mask. Didn't work. And then I see these signs, Jesus would wear a mask, and I was like, man, you know, sometime that sign's gotta go. Drove past the other day, literally the sign is gone. There is no in concrete, it's gone. I don't know where it went. So, yeah, we're in the mode of like just trying to appease people. Whatever, we don't want to step on people's toes, we want to respect people. So, you know, at some point we gotta step up and be like, you know what? You do whatever you want. Okay, my conviction is that I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, that's my respect to God, is that I'm going to do what I know that He is saying. Don't do this. You don't need to follow these nutso people. Okay.
And then just pray to God that this guy actually is the one.
Yes, because if not, like, no. I mean,
nobody.
No. See, that's where we have to trust.
That's right.
If this guy isn't the guy, it's not even about the guy. It's not about your boyfriend, okay? But we can't call him your boyfriend yet because your parents are like, whoa, it's too much. I can't say it. But your boyfriend, even if he's not the one, whatever, okay? But like, you have to live a life where you can follow your convictions and do what, you know, you feel is the right thing to do, again, because you can respond, you have the ability to respond to stuff. So, you're not going to feel guilty if you move out, which I think you should do. If you move out and then you don't end up marrying this guy, I know you're going to feel guilty for the rest of your life. You're going to try and make this guy work no matter what. Don't even do that. Like, that, he's not the point. The point is to move out and then start making your own decisions. So that even if this guy isn't the right guy, that's totally fine. Like, it literally doesn't matter. Okay? So we're fine. We literally need to get out of this situation now. Your parents, and if they disown you because you're over 18 and move out, like, just forget them. Whatever. Oh, okay. Wow. Messy family. 2025 is the year that you finally start that website you've always wanted to start. But when you're ready to get started with Squarespace. Whether it's the Blimey website or the side projects that Josh and I work on, we build our sites with Squarespace and have been using their services for over a decade now. Maybe you want to sell stuff, or display your work, or start a blog, or a podcast. Whatever you want to do, Squarespace can create a site that does one or all of those things. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, literally anyone can build an online presence that perfectly fits their brand or personality. Their AI-enhanced website builder makes an already easy process even more efficient and customized just for you. No matter where you start, your website is flexible to what you need. You'll need a domain name, and Squarespace makes that easy too. All the security features that other sites make you pay extra for, they're all included for one low price. You can easily take donations on your website as well, and you can add videos. Squarespace is a fantastic service that is constantly improving. I cannot recommend them more highly. If you've been thinking about starting a website, I want to encourage you to just do it. Because now, making websites is just so easy, and it's fun too. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch, go to our link squarespace.com/cow, because there you're gonna get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/cow. Now, Let's get back to the messages. Hi, Jordan. I'm about to marry a wonderful man, and we attended marriage counseling to prepare. During counseling, we discussed his past. He strayed from his faith in his early 20s and lived with an ex, but later repented and has been devoted to his faith for years. Our counselor was harsh, claiming he was already married to his ex and that I'd be committing adultery by marrying him. She also questioned his role in ministry and said she would inform the elders. This was deeply hurtful, and my fiance no longer wants to continue counseling. I am worried about judgment from our church and how this might affect our marriage. How should we handle this? See, this is where things get a little bit muddied in my mind, Josh, okay? Because, you know, we're programmed to believe that marriage, it's not that, you know, it's sure God has like ordained it, whatever, and so, but, you know, you get divorced, you marry somebody else, and like it's all fine, like everything, but then when you really start to like, you know,
he wasn't actually married.
Right. He wasn't married according to the state.
Right. Yes, according to the state. Okay.
According to the state. Right. Okay. No, I get it. Okay. So, you know, it's a difficult situation. Quite honestly, I don't even know what I think about this whole about this aspect of life. I don't know. I truly don't know. If I'm just going straight off of instincts and just not anything else, like just, shoot from the hip. If I'm just shooting from the hip, you know, you're putting me on the spot. Haven't really looked this up much. You know, I really just despise this counselor. There's something about her. Is this a man or?
Tell the elders here about this. Oh, it's a woman. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know that for sure. I just assumed.
No, I think it said we attended marriage. Yeah, why did we both just assume that? She also questioned his role. I mean...
Saved by a pronoun.
Saved by a pronoun. No, I'm not being sexist. I just read a she and it like, you know, sure, that's what happened. No, but it's... I think that this was absolutely wrong. Look, this is why Christians have a bad rap. Christians, it's like if you know, we're all sinners, we all need to be saved, blah blah blah. But if you did sin in the past, well, forget it. If we find out,
thank God that He forgives you, because I don't.
Yeah. If we find out you can't do anything, you can never get over it, you can't, you know, that's kind of the perception that people have, and it's because of idiots like this who do this kind of stuff. And it's frustrating, to say the least. Now, I really don't know what, you know, at the end of the day, if somebody is like living with somebody, in God's eyes, those people are married. We've read what the Bible says about divorce and all this stuff, and so it's like, you know, how much do we... For some reason, that kind of thing I take, like, when I read that, I'm like, you know, I've seen stuff in my life where that really rings true. That really rings true for me. I don't feel like I'm, like, taking that and being like, well, like, you know, where I'm saying in certain contexts in the Bible, like we just said the last thing, where you're defining words, and it's like, what does respect my parents mean? Okay, well, like, it's pretty clear with like in the Bible, it's like divorce seems like, you know, it seems like a different, it's almost defining itself in there. So that, you know, that's a situation that I personally don't really touch. So two things can be true. I can say you're on your own on this one. I don't know the answer, which is rare. I don't know the answer to this one, but I also completely disagree with this psycho counselor who like completely went off a rocker. Like, both of those two things can exist in the same world.
I think you can have an ideal of what's ideal, but also say, well, look, someone messed up and they're trying to fix things. Right. And it's like, maybe, yeah, I guess it would have been better if that hadn't happened in the first place. But.
Right. But to, like, completely lose it and be like, well, I'm going to tell everybody what you did. And
he's not going anywhere in this church. I don't blame him for not wanting to go back to counseling. What's he getting out of it?
No, the guy didn't. The wife, or whoever this is, the fiance, dragged him to counseling, and then
he tries to be honest.
And yeah, and then he's like, you see what I said?
Many such cases.
I knew this is what was gonna happen.
Many such cases.
Almost 100% of the time, the man does not want to go to counseling. Because then it's this counselor who happens to be a female. And the she. And then she does this to him. It's like gang up on the dude kind of day. And it's like because the counselor has had a bad experience with somebody in the past, and so she's taking everything out on this guy emotionally.
You just gotta trust me on this, okay? You don't want to be with this guy.
I'm not even saying the guy is bad. I'm just saying I'm confused by what the Bible says, and so I don't want to give some answer. Like, I can give my human answer that's like, yeah, it doesn't matter, it's fine. I don't know if that's true. I can't.
It sounded like she was kind of hurt by the situation, but then it got overshadowed
By the psycho.
By the psycho. So now she's just like, well, now I just want to offend him, even though I'm still kind of hurt by this situation that came out in the first place.
Well, I think that's what I'm trying to understand. So did this just like come out like in this counseling?
That was my understanding.
During counseling, we discussed his past. I don't think so. I think that.
Oh, okay. They already.
I think they already knew, but it was just like, oh, now we're telling people. Like that's what it feels.
But
like.
even still, he's.
See, but let's talk about the broader question. Let's forget this question. I'm not saying it's a bad question, but let's talk about the broader thing, because if I got to work this out in my mind. So, we've got all these girls and guys who are sleeping with everybody constantly in college. So then what does this mean? Like, what do these people just never get married because they've been married 50 times? Like, you see what I mean?
I think you just eventually.
It's just a clean slate.
Maturity and wisdom is realizing that was a dumb thing to do. And if you can come to that that knowledge.
But how do you get from the in the Bible it says that if a guy marries a divorced woman, that is adultery. That's in the Bible. Right? How do we get past this?
Well, what does divorce even mean? What's the original Hebrew?
I don't know. Like, that's in the Bible, is it not? See, that's what I'm saying. Look, I don't know. I just try and stay out of the divorce thing. I try not to get divorced. I try not to. Every day, I'm like, it gets muddy at that point. What happens after that? No, I'm serious. I have no idea. That's whenever people talk about that, I literally just throw up my hands. I'm like, we're just, we were supposed to be in the Garden of Eden. Now we're getting so, I don't even know. I have no clue. But then, when, the lady at the well comes, she's like sleeping with everybody and their dad. And then he's like, just go and sin no more.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You recognize you need help, then you're good.
Then you're fine.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad we worked this out, so we just made that up in a way, but, it made me feel better. I don't know. I don't know what he said. I don't know what it said, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm going by instincts and just life in general, if this guy realizes that this was an absolute mistake and he was like, I have repented, I'm trying, I'm not even trying, I just am new, and I'm now I'm ready to be in this, and I'm like, okay, great, there we go. So, did we? You've made my life easier. I don't have to think about this anymore. Was that a good answer to us? Are people gonna lose their minds from this whole discussion?
People like to hear people thinking about them.
Well, that's great. Okay, so we'll edit around this.
We'll look up the original Hebrew for what divorce is. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Or Greek or whatever.
Whatever it was. Oh, outro. What are we? Family is messy. We've already established why. In both questions, Josh, really. The first question more overtly. The second question was a little bit more. It was a tough one because they're not actually a family yet. But he has technically a family, and we don't know where she is. She's gone, and they were married but weren't married according to the state. So that is messy. It's messy when you don't know who your family is because
the counselor clearly had a messy family too.
Clearly. Yeah, so I guess that's the end. If you guys want more, we have one more question. Let me just read a little tidbit from it. Jordan, I need your help. I get along great with my 5 siblings and enjoy their company, but my brother Hamilton is a narcissist. If you want to know what the rest of that question is and my amazing answer, then go to blimeycow.com.
Support Blimey Cow.
Support BlimeyCow.com.
I left you.
I was looking
Sorry.
and Joshua was just smiling at me. Support BlimeyCow.com, and
How
if
does
you
he not know where to go?
I'm still confused by the divorce question. So support BlimeyCow.com, and if you go there, you support us, you get bonus messages, and so you will know what the answer to that question is. Okay.
And you get
And
the Messages
and you
Land
get the
shirt.
Messages Land T-shirt, which is obviously worth gold. So don't be messy and leave good messages.